Creator and Creation. God, the Creator, is all there is, all that exists. God's creating universe of matter in motion appears to exist. To our senses, it sequentially disappears to reappear. It has no reality. It but simulates reality through the illusion of two-way projected lights in motion. God, the Creator, is the one being, the one person, the one mind, the one thinker, the one self, the one life, the one soul, the one power, the one reality. God's creation is the imaged pattern form of God's imagining, built in His image. It is the body of God, the record of His thinking, created by Him for expressing the oneness of life, love, mind, soul, and power, which is in Him alone. The one light. God is light. God is universal mind. Mind is light. Mind knows. Mind thinks what it knows. Mind thinks in two opposed lights, simultaneously projected from their centering white light source, and sequentially repeated in cycles. God's thinking and imagining are qualities of God's knowing. God's knowing mind is timeless and still. So also are God's thinking and imagining timeless and still. So, likewise, man's thinking and imagining are as timeless and still as is his knowing. Stillness never can be motion or become motion, but it can appear to be. Motion merely seems, but stillness always is. The universal equilibrium can never be other than its own balance, but it can seem to be. The illusion, which is motion, springs from stillness and returns to stillness. This is a universe of rest. There is naught but rest in the universe. Mind knows its one ideal of creation as one whole. Mind thinks its one whole ideal into seeming parts, hence the illusion of motion, which we call creation, and the illusion of substance, which we call matter. Matter, motion, time, change, dimension, and substance have no existence. The light of knowing mind alone exists. There is but one mind and one thinker. The one light of knowing mind is self of God. It is the universal self, which centers all omnipresent self-creating bodies of God's selves. This self-creating universe is the mind-imagined body of God and record of God's thinking. We can know God. We cannot know His body, but we can see it. Likewise, we can know man. We cannot know the body of man, but we can see it. What God is, man is. God and man are one. Our seeming duality. We seemingly live in two universes, the still cosmic mind universe of knowing, and the moving thoughts of mind rhythmatic wave universe of sensing. We cannot sense the cosmic universe of God's knowing, nor can we know the thought wave universe of God's thinking. The cosmic mind universe of the one light of all knowing is all that is. The vibrating thought wave universe of sensing merely seems. The cosmic God light. The one still light of God is the cosmic light which watches over all creating things at countless points locatable by man, but invisible to man. Man's senses have misled him into believing in a force called magnetism, which attracts compass needles and lifts tons of steel. These phenomena of motion are due to electricity and not to magnetism. The cosmic light is absolutely still. It neither attracts nor repels. We now need to comprehend the nature and purpose of the magnetic poles of suns, planets, and all other moving extensions of the one light. Likewise, we need to know the nature and purpose of the two electric workers which interweave this light mirage of seeming motion and dissolve it sequentially for rebuilding. This will give a foundation of knowledge to man which will enable him to see behind the illusions which deceive his senses. The time has come in the history of man's journey from his material jungle to his spiritual mountaintop, when it is imperative that he must live more and more in the cosmic light universe of knowing, and less in the electric wave universe of sensing. Man must know that his power lies in the stillness of his centering self, and not in the motion by means of which he manifests that stillness. He must know that his self is God in him. Also, he must know gradually the dawning awareness of the cosmic light of God in him, for with it comes an awareness of his purposefulness in manifesting the light and the power to manifest it. Man must now know the universe of God for what it is, instead of what his senses have made him believe it to be. Also, he must know that this forever creating universe, which seems so real to him, is but a cosmic cinema conceived by the master playwright. It is but an electrically projected, spectrum-colored light and sound wave motion picture play of cause and effect, thrown on the black screen of a mad imaged space and time. The cause is real. The effect is but a simulation of the reality. The self of man is cause. His self-creating body is effect. God's universe of magnetic light is static. God's perpetually creating electric wave universe of two moving lights is dynamic. It forever moves. The two moving lights are projected through each other from the static one to create the illusion of the ideal they but manifest. The illusion which manifests the ideal of creation through seeming motion is not the ideal which is seemingly manifest. Creation is the product of mind knowing, expressed in form by mind thinking. The product of mind is not the ideal which it simulates. No ideal of mind is ever created. It is but simulated by form and motion. Ideal is eternal and belongs to God's still universe of knowing. Form of ideal in matter is transient, but is eternally repeated as transient form of ideal. The positive principle. The foundation of the spiritual universe is stillness, the balanced stillness of the one magnetic light of God. Balanced stillness is the positive principle of stability and unity. In it there are no negations. The negative principle. The foundation of the physical universe is motion, the ever-changing motion arising out of pairs of unbalanced conditions, which must forever move to seek the balanced stillness of unity from which they sprang as multiple pairs of units. Unbalanced motion is the negative principle of instability, multiplicity, and separateness, which is this physical universe of electric octave waves of opposed lights. In the negative principle, there is no positive. It is composed entirely of pairs of negations which are forever voiding each other, canceling each other's action and reaction, thus negating each other by never allowing either one to exceed its fixed zero of universal stillness. Quality begets quantities. The still magnetic light universe of God's knowing is an invisible, unchanging, unconditioned, and unmeasurable quality from which visible, changing, conditioned, and measurable quantities spring to simulate those qualities through two-way wave motion. There is no one word in any language to express that quality, so we must use many words, all having the same meaning but different connotations. These words are mind, consciousness, love, life, truth, desire, knowledge, power, balance, and law. The God quality of the one light is seemingly transformed into quantities by being divided into pairs of oppositely conditioned light pressures of this electric universe. These divided pairs are then multiplied into countless octave wave units of light pressures and set in opposite directioned motion to create the illusion of sequence, change, dimension, condition, and time in a universe where none of these effects of motion exist. The calm sea, for example, is an unchanging, unmeasurable quality of oneness, of sameness and stillness. Upon its calm surface there is no change, nothing to count or to measure. The moment that quantities of waves spring from that quality of calm, those quantities can be measured. Likewise, they are forever changing, nor are there 2 points in them which are similarly conditioned. This creating electric universe is composed of moving light waves which sprang from a calm sea of the one still light. It is a universe of moving pairs of quantities which simulate the quality of stillness from which those quantities spring. The quantities of divided and conditioned pairs of opposite lights which thus simulate the one are not the one they simulate. The Creator is one mind, indivisible. Creation is one whole idea of mind, divided into countless simulated ideals of mind through motion. The simulation of ideal thus expressed is not the ideal that it expresses. Parts of the one whole ideal are only seeming. There are no two separate or separable things in the universe. There is but one whole simulation of the one whole ideal. Everything that is of everything else that is. All things are indissolubly united. Every happening anywhere happens everywhere. The milkweed fluff floating lazily in the summer sky affects the balance of the whole universe of suns and galaxies. Every part of the universe moves in interdependent unison, as the wheels of a watch move in unison. The watch wheels are geared together mechanically. The rhythmatic wave universe is geared together electrically. The entire universe is one and must be kept in balance as one. Changes of condition in any one part are simultaneously reflected in every other part, and are sequentially repeated in it. Say thou these words in words of man's knowing, for verily I say, I am within all things, without all things, and involved in all things, for I am everywhere.